Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest of honor tonight, Mr. Rocky Carroll.
Hey, everybody. So that happened.
That's quite the montage at the end.
Oh, man.
Was there any particular image from that where you're like, oh, that's a deep cut?
I was like, wow, man, I've been on this show. I've been on this show for a long time. That was kind of. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, the executive producer said, we want to. What episodes when all of this started to kind of crystallize and come into focus, and they're like, we want to. I think, and this is the first time I've ever seen it.
Yeah, you just saw this for the first time.
I just watched this first time with you guys as well. So all the good people coming on, it's like, yeah, good job, well done.
You know what's funny is when they invited me to do this like a month ago, I hadn't seen the episode. I didn't know what was going to happen, and I was like, all right. If this is an episode where NCIS almost closes down, but Vance sacrifices his job to save the agency, we'll have a good conversation. And I was thinking, all right, if it's an episode it's a complete fake out, and we go back to 100% status quo at the end, and I was like, all right, Rocky and I, we can just shoot the ish for 30 minutes.
Right.
But then I actually see the episode, and I'm like, wow, we're gonna have a really meaty conversation tonight.
Yeah.
You remember when you and I last saw each other?
Were you on the set of NCIS? Was that when you did your cameo?
I was on the set 2 years ago for the 1000th franchise episode.
Right.
Which was, in a way, Vance-centric. Because Vance got shot at Jackie's grave.
At Jackie's grave, yeah.
And, you were in the hospital for most of the episode, but, it was...
That's right. The second time I've been shot on this.
You dodged the bullet once.
Yeah.
This time, not so much. Talk about the decision to write off Vance and the conversations you had. Like, when did they first tell you? How early in the season did you know this was coming?
Not very early in the season, because I don't think the idea actually crystallized until mid-season. We start filming NCIS in the summer. Usually the writers come together in June, and by mid-July we start filming again. I wasn't told. We shot that episode in December. The last day of shooting that episode, the last day when the office doors open and Vance walks towards the light, that was December 11th. I think I found out sometime in November, about 2 episodes before we actually shot that. Our executive producer, Steve Binder, came into my trailer and said, we have this idea for the 500th episode. It's going to be a huge surprise. It's going to be, but we want to do something really big, do something really bold. I mean, we could usually take the 500th episode and take a trip down memory lane and introduce characters and go back and forth, but we wanted to, everybody to a person says, we gotta do something that just sends shockwaves through the fan base and after 23 years, if we don't do something big and monumental now, we might not get a chance to do it. And so he starts to tell me the story about the agency coming on the brink of total collapse, but thanks to Director Vance, the agency is saved. And in the process of the agency being saved, the director loses his life. It's a terrific story. Do you want to hear more? And I said, let's go back to the part where you said in order to save the agency, he loses his life. So at this point, I'm having like an out-of-body experience as he's talking to me, right? And it's just kind of going on. And said, you want to hear the whole story? I said, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that little part again about, and in order to save the agency, he loses his life. But I think because as an actor and a creative and as a director, the more we talked about it, the more he told it, the little voice inside my head was like, that's a really great idea. It's actually a great story. And yes, it's going to be, what an impact that would have. And I've said this to a lot of people, the people who I'm really close to, my circle of family and friends. After having been a part of this series for 18 seasons,
yeah.
When I joined NCIS, it was season 5. I came in the tail end of season 5, and I literally thought that I was coming on the tail end of the series. I said, this will probably go 7 or 8 seasons. The Sopranos went 7, 8 years. one of the most critically acclaimed, Emmy Award-winning, critically acclaimed shows may have a shelf life of about 7 or 8 years. So I thought season 5, if it goes 7 or 8, that's great. That would be a feather in my cap. So by that math, the last 16 years or so have been overtime for me, really. So I was, and the more it started to crystallize, the more the understanding of what was going to happen and the impact that it was going to have and how it would propel this franchise one way or the other. I got on board with it pretty quickly because I just felt like, and Steve Binder said, we're going to make an episode where this episode is going to be a love letter to your character. It's going to be a tribute. It's going to be, hopefully, it really encompasses what we feel. And one of the reasons why we chose this is because the character has become so beloved. We want people to go, oh no, not him, no, please. And so all of those things. And as we were shooting the episode, as we were making it, I kind of felt like it was like, yeah, this is good.